Okay, welcome. So today we will be talking about Jenkins. All right, we will be talking about Jenkins. Okay, before we go ahead into looking at the nitty-gritty of Jenkins, we will first of all um, introduce us to automation, what automation is, and CI/CD and CD in the context of automation, examples of CI/CD, and one of the tools for implementing CI/CD, which is Jenkins, which is Jenkins. 1 second, guys. Which is which is Jenkins. Okay. Now, automation, as we all know, is when we say automation is very vague. It's vague in the sense that there are different aspects of automation. We have when you try to write bash scripts, you have to write scripts. It's not necessarily bash anyway, but anything script, be it bash script, PowerShell scripts, be it Perl scripts or Python scripts. These scripts are meant to automate tasks. All right. When we say automate means automatic. Situation where you are relinquishing, all right, human intervention. Okay. When you relinquish human intervention in a process, okay, that is seen or described as automation. And in the context of automation, we will be talking about CI/CD and CD. Okay, so CI/CD in this context is continuous integration. CI/CD, and CD. So now we have the first CI, which is termed as continuous integration. All right, I'm going to define all this time. We have the first CD, which is continuous delivery, and we have the third CD, which is continuous deployment. Now, let's take a look at each of these terminology. All right, so guys, take this thing seriously because in the interview, you would be asked what is CI, what is CD, all right? And most times they'll just tell you, okay, what is continuous deployment? They want to skip continuous delivery. They'll ask you, what is continuous deployment? Okay, so right. So continuous integration, it is a software development strategy where developers code are continuously, all right, deployed, continuously integrated into a common repository. Let me reduce this into 10. All right. Where developers code are continuously integrated into a common repository. This is a standard definition, right? You could say continuously or frequently or frequently, right? It's a software development strategy or practice, okay? The software development practice or strategy where developers code are continuously or frequently integrated into a common repository. Now, because it gives examples of CI. So examples of CI, we could term your Git, your GitHub, your GitLab. All right. Okay, great. Now, we could also term your Jenkins. It does continuous integration. All right. Now, continuous delivery. Continuous delivery. It is a software development strategy. All right. Where developers code, developers code, where developers code, what's that, guys? Where developers code are continuously, same thing, continuously deployed, all right, into different environments, such as such as such as dev, staging, UAT. UAT stand as test environments, QA. All right. So look at this thing now. There's one easier way to cram this definition. There's one easier way to cram this definition. Now for CI and CD, it's the same, somehow similar definition until it gets to this place. Developers code are continuously deployed. Developers code are continuously integrated into common repository. So from this part, everything just changes. All right. Everything just changes. Okay. Now, the last one on the list is continuous deployment. It is a software development strategy where developers' code are continuously deployed into production. So they want to ask you these things in an interview. What's the difference between CI, CD, and you now say what is continuous deployment, right? Don't confuse continuous deployment with continuous delivery. I'm coming, guys. One second, guys. All right, guys. So this is the three terminology in the context of automation. All right. So let's go further. So now examples, okay, I didn't give example. Okay. Now examples of continuous delivery. All right. So e.g. of continuous delivery, we have Argo CD. We have Flux CD. So now Argo CD or Flux CD, they have the same characteristics. They are used for implementing continuous delivery. That is what they are designed to do, right? Continuous delivery. Okay. Then continuous deployment, and also Jenkins does continuous. Your GitHub, okay, this here is GitHub CI, GitLab CI. Then over here, you can still use your GitHub Actions, and then GitLab CI. You can also do continuous delivery, and similar, the same thing over here as well. So these are these different tools: Jenkins, continuous deployment, GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions is an example of continuous deployment. Even your GitLab CI is also another example of continuous deployment. All right, continuous deployment. Okay, so now what is Jenkins? Jenkins is an automated tool for implementing CI/CD. Oh boy, this is what did happen now? Offline anyhow. One sec, guys. One second, guys, please. So don't off this light again. So um so Jenkins, it is an automated tool for implementing CI/CD, right? So that's the purpose of Jenkins, and that's what it does. All right. So great. So we will be looking at how to set up Jenkins on an EC2 instance. All right. How to set up Jenkins on an EC2 instance. Now, before we talk about setting up Jenkins on an EC2 instance, I want to let us know something, that Jenkins could also be deployed into a Kubernetes cluster as a pod. It could be deployed into a Kubernetes cluster as a pod. However, there's a big drawback to deploying what's it called? To deploying Jenkins as a pod within the Kubernetes cluster. And that drawback is, if the Jenkins server crashes, or there's a stage that it will get to, your Jenkins server will increase the storage. And once that happens, it might start causing your Jenkins server to crash intermittently. And once it starts crashing intermittently, it doesn't make sense anymore. So in production, it is advisable that you separate your Jenkins server from your Kubernetes cluster. So we would be setting up a Jenkins server as a standalone server that runs on an EC2 instance. So from the Jenkins, all right, from that instance, we can integrate our GitHub repositories, then we can also integrate your Kubernetes environment to your Jenkins server. So that is the reason why we need to separate, run your your Jenkins as a standalone. So without further ado, let's quickly now look at how to install Jenkins on an EC2 instance. So what I will do is, 1 second, guys, let me pause this. Okay,
How
guys,
come he's
so
always
I
sleeping?
want to quickly,
Don't sleep at night.
set up, I want to quickly set up, a Jenkins server. So I'll be doing that on Amazon Linux. All right. So I'll come here, launch instance. I'll give you the name Jenkins, then Amazon Linux. Remember to always change this guy to Amazon Linux 2. Amazon Linux 2. All right. So great. So because we are we are in a we are practicing, all right. We are in a learning environment. I'm setting my Jenkins server instance type to be T2 micro. But if I were to be in production, what I would do, I would look for C4 um C4 extra large. C4 extra large is okay for a production ready Jenkins server. All right. For a production ready Jenkins server, C4 extra large. Okay. Yeah, I would want to go for C4 2 times extra large, but this is okay. C4 extra large, C4 extra large, okay, in production. All right. So I'm going to want T2 micro because we are testing. Okay. Now select my key pair, where are you? Then my network settings, edit network settings, select your VPC, select your public VPC, select your existing security group, Frank SG. On this security group, I have opened all the ports. So you have to be very, very careful as well. I've opened all the ports. I'm using all the ports. Okay, the storage is just 8 GB. Then I will launch. So this guy is launching. Fresh is coming up. So let us pause. Jenkins server up. So I want to connect to this Jenkins server. So I'll select it. I'll click on connect. Here is my SSH connection string. I'll copy it. Then I'll come to my terminal. Come to my terminal. Then I'll paste that guy. What was it saying? The key is not here. Frank dev keys. Frank dev keys. Frank. I have it now. So what was it saying? The identity of the host cannot be established. The key is not known by any other names. Are you sure you want to? Why? Permission denied. I'm coming in. Search mode 400 Frank dev keys. Okay. Um, I want to do something. Most of the times, when you're having this kind of error, it is always best you delete this file, none underscore host. So let me remove that file. It will recreate it. Okay. So it has recreated to recreate that host, that file. So let me try to connect again. Why am I having that complaint? Yes. Okay. Let me see. Refresh. So at times also, it is always better you wait for the server to completely initialize. The server has not initialized yet. I think that could be the reason we are having this challenge. Let me try and connect one more time. Does not completely initialize. Let's see. Let's wait. I don't see why I'm getting that error. Find dev keys. Find dev keys. Let's wait. If it doesn't go, let's wait. Let it finish initializing. All right, it has finished initializing. Select it, connect, copy. Let's go. Okay. So I think I have to create a new instance with a new key. Why now? Terminate. Terminate. Launch. One sec, guys. Frankie. So I have Frankie here. Let me check. Frankie. All right, I have Frankie. So let's use Frankie. Edit. Frank VPC. Subnet is subnet 2. That security group is Frank SG and launch. So okay. So let's pause it first. Resume. Connect. Connect. Okay. Let's see. All right. So the challenge was with that key. I don't know what's wrong with that key. All right. So now that I've logged into my Jenkins server. So this is my Jenkins server, right? This is my Jenkins server. So what I will now do is I will now go to what's this name? -I sudo no wonder. So now go to Jenkins official website. So Jenkins official website is on jenkins.io. Jenkins.io. So now, once I open the Jenkins official website, I should see this page. The Jenkins official website is jenkins.io. Jenkins.io. So the next thing I need to do is just to go to what? Download. I'll click on download. I'll click on download. So the moment I click on download, I'm going to see two separate versions. The first version is a stable release, and the other one is a regular release. So now what's the difference? This LTS means long-time support, right? Release baselines are chosen every 12 weeks from a stream of regular releases. Every 4 weeks, we release stable releases, which include bug and security fix backports. Then the regular release, this release line delivers bug fixes and new features rapidly to users and plugin developers who need them. It is generally delivered on a weekly cadence. Maybe this one is delivered weekly basis, all right? And this one is delivered every 4 weeks, right? Which is a stable release. So it's always advisable you select a stable release. You select an option from the stable release. Do not go to this other release. It's a regular release. Maybe this release is just for the testing purposes. If you want to do anything production, please go for the what? For the stable release. All right. So because of my Jenkins server is of the same flavor with Red Hat, so I'll select this option. If I had used Ubuntu as my Jenkins server, I'll select what? This option. Now, if I need to deploy Jenkins on a Kubernetes cluster, I'll use I'll click on Kubernetes. Let's check Kubernetes. If I click on Kubernetes, let's see. So this, they are using Helm charts, all right? Helm repo add Jenkins, blah, blah, blah. Install the release. Once you do this, you've installed everything. The Jenkins is up and you've installed Jenkins. You've installed Jenkins as a pod within the Kubernetes cluster, all right? Within the Kubernetes cluster. But we're not going to go this route, all right? So let's go back. So we are going to go the route of installing Jenkins on an EC2 instance. So I'll click on this guy. So these are the flows. So I'll copy, just copy. Don't need to do anything. Copy. Come to your terminal. Come to your terminal, paste it. Paste. It's been pasted. All right, great. Now do the next thing. Yum install, copy. Come over here. Sudo that. So let's see. So this guy is going to install only the fonts config package. It's not installing this Java package because it cannot find the Java package, but we are going to look for that Java package. Because why? Because Jenkins uses Java. Jenkins uses Java. So now I want to install Java. I'll say yum install Java. Let me put asterisk. So if I put asterisk, it's going to pull out for me all versions of Java. So let me scroll now and check out for the version of Java that I want. So you can see version 1.7, 1.8, version 11, and version 17. So what I want now is version 17. So this is how it is. So I'll now say, okay, I'll say no, no. Then I'll call it, I'll say dash 11, sorry, 17, asterisk. All right. So let's try that and see. You can see. So what I'm installing now is just only what? Java 17. I'll say Y and enter. So Java 17 is getting installed. So once this aspect has been settled, the next line will be what? Installing Jenkins proper. All right? Installing Jenkins proper. Okay. So now that we've installed Java, let's go ahead to install what? Jenkins. I'll copy that line. I'll come to my terminal. Now I'll say sudo Jenkins install. I'll say Y, yes, enter. You can see the version of Jenkins you're installing is 2.426.2-1.1, right? So Jenkins has been installed. So Jenkins has been installed and the service of Jenkins is being managed by systemd. So if I say system sudo systemctl status of the Jenkins service, the status is loaded, however, it is inactive. It's loaded, however, it's what? Inactive. So let's restart it. So I'm going to recall the command and maybe I want to enable it. The service has been enabled. Then let me restart it. Restart. This service is getting restarted. Let's wait. Take some time, guys. Oh, San Antonio. Okay, so the service has been restarted. So if you check the status one more time, you should have it that Jenkins is up and running. So mind you, Jenkins run on what? Port 8080. But how do we know? There's a command called netstart. So netstart is used to check for open ports in your Linux server. So I'll say netstart space TULPN. So these are the flags. These are the flags I need to check. So if I hit enter, I should see that it's supposed to show me port. You can see now port 8080. This server is now listening on what? Port 8080. All right. This server is listening on what? Port 8080. So what I will do is I'm going to grab my public IP. There's a command you can use to get your public IP within the Linux server. That command is called ident.me. Now, here is my public IP. You can see. Copy this guy. Take note of guys. Copy. All right. Copy. Come to your browser and paste it. Because Jenkins runs on port 8080, I'm going to say column 8080 or specify the port number. All right. Or specify the port number. Now, getting started. They said I have to unlock Jenkins. To ensure Jenkins is securely set up by the administrator, a password has been written to a log, not sure where to find it. And this file is on the server. So this is the location of Jenkins. Now, before I go and talk about this location, Jenkins has a home directory. The home directory of Jenkins is on /var/lib/Jenkins. All right. So Jenkins home directory is on /var/lib/Jenkins. Sorry, sudo cd. It's not giving me what I want. All right. /var/lib/Jenkins. Now, pwd, I'm under what? /var/lib/Jenkins. Now, let's list the contents. So these are the contents of what? The Jenkins server. Now it says what? We should go to this directory, secret. And under this directory, there's a file called initial admin password. So this file, you're going to get the administrator's password from this file. That's what this thing means. Now let's go back. Now under this directory, I have a file, a directory called what? Secret. Let's go into that secret. Change directory, secret. Under secret, there's a file called what? Initial admin password. Inside of this file, we have the the admin password, the initial admin password. So let's check. So I'm going to cut the file. I'll say initial this guy, and I'll hit enter. You can see this is the password. So copy this file. I have copied it. Come to your browser and paste that what you copy. I've pasted it. Click on what? Continue. So the moment I click on continue, it's going to what? Open the next page. It's going to unlock Jenkins. So I've unlocked Jenkins. So now it's saying what? I should customize Jenkins. Now it's giving me two options. One is to install plugins. One is to allow Jenkins to install plugins automatically. And the other is to select the plugins that I want to be installed. So it is always recommended that you allow Jenkins to do the installation for you, installation of plugins. Now, the beauty of Jenkins is based on plugins. If you need to integrate anything, I tell you, anything under this earth, you have to install the plugin for that service. You want to integrate AWS, Kubernetes with Jenkins, you have to install AWS plugin. You have to install Jenkins plugin. You have to install Kubernetes plugin. You want to integrate GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, anything, guys, anything with Jenkins. you have to install the plugin. So we're going to show us all of that. All right. So, but for now, let's install the suggested plugins to get started. Click on this guy. So these are the plugins that are getting installed: folders, timestamper, pipeline, Git, LDAP, email extension, SSH build agents, GitHub branch source, workspace. All right. So it takes some time. Let me just pause it. So once it's done, I'll be right back. Jenkins is now asking us to create what? The first admin user, right? This thing can be skipped and you can come back later to this stage, but it is always recommended, all right? You create the first user. So I want to call that first user admin. Simple. Password 1234. Confirm password 1234. Full name admin. Email address admin@yahoo.com. Click on save and continue. So now we've created the user. The next one is Jenkins URL. So this is okay. So this is the Jenkins URL. The public IP followed by the port is the same thing that we have here. All right. So click on what? Save and finish. Start using Jenkins. So guys, this is Jenkins. Welcome to Jenkins. So the moment you do all of those things, you get the dashboard. So this is what we call the Jenkins dashboard. On my left-hand side, there are different items. We have the new item. We have people, build history, manage Jenkins, my views, build queue, build executors. All right. Then on this center, we have a welcome message from Jenkins. This page is where Jenkins jobs will be displayed. To get started, you can set up distributed builds or start building a software project. All right. Great. Perfect, guys. So far, so good. We have been able to set up Jenkins up till to the dashboard where we can have the dashboard, right? Where we can have the dashboard. So maybe we want to stop here tonight. Maybe when we come back tomorrow, by God's grace, we shall start off with what? Item number 8, where we shall look at managing Jenkins, right? So managing Jenkins, if you want to see the whole of Jenkins, you go to what? Manage Jenkins. So under manage Jenkins, we are going to see a whole lot. We shall look at system configuration, systems, tools, plugins. This is where you want to install plugins, nodes, cloud, security, credentials provider, users, if I need to create more users, system information, you want to get information about the server, system log, load statistics, about Jenkins, troubleshooting, etc., etc., guys, etc., etc. So I want to end today's session here. And when we come tomorrow, Saturday by 4 p.m., we will continue from managing Jenkins. At this juncture, guys, is there any query?